Let's go, Tennessee fans. What the heck happened in this game versus Arkansas? We start things off with a really good block right up the gut here. A good double team versus one of the bigger defensive tackles in college football. That's Ian Gifford. Look, they got him lifted off the freaking ground, and you work to the second level. You see the too high safety. If you see too high safety, you got to be able to run on it when you have that numbers advantage. And watch this. The umpire takes a blindside blow. That's the hardest tackle any Arkansas defender has had all season, and it's a really nice game. Development of Lance Hurd just deserves a lot of credit. Okay, you get a really nice double on a defensive tackle who's struggling, but he's good, Cameron Ball, and now you get to the next level right here, and you can see Lance Hurd started losing his feet. He's still able. Look, and this is a big dude jumping up into the air and keeping his feet to come across to make this block. That is ridiculous. Okay, so then let's show the pullers here. Boom. And boom, you need Kitselman to get the block right here on Sorey. He does just that. Sorey's been one of the worst linebackers in the SEC. In actual tackling, coverage-wise, he's okay. And guess what? You walk into the end zone for a touchdown to tie it up. Let's move ahead in the second quarter here with Joey Aguilar getting a nice one here to Staley. Once again, Lance Hurd playing ridiculously good football, gets his guy down to the ground. You do have someone leaking through here at the last second, but Joey Aguilar is not afraid to take a pretty big shot right here to get the football down the field to Staley. Look at that throw while getting absolutely smashed. So we get to the reverse that everybody's running. This started actually with Steve Sarkisian last year, and you've seen it in the NFL with the Chiefs. LSU runs this pretty often. It's one of the few plays that they actually do run that works. And what makes it really tough is that you have a tight end return motion attached to it. So what makes this really effective from a Tennessee vantage point is that they do pull their tight ends around quite a bit. So if you see a guard pulling and then the tight end starts pulling, you're thinking for sure that this is going to be a run to the left, but he returns and goes to the right. And the key block is to make sure Staley seals the play side in. The end actually just took himself out of the play. And you just need decent blocks right here. And once again, you have a huge numbers advantage. Kitselman, a nice block right there. And then Mike Matthews, you would have liked to have seen him actually just cut this up and keep your feet, right? You see, he's slowing down. He already predetermines here that he's going to go for the hurdle, which I honestly think you should never do unless you are a big tight end. And yeah, I just, it looks cool. I just don't like it. Alrighty, so this is such an interesting way to play offense. So right here, you get a snap, and the first thing about this Miles Kitselman touchdown that stands out to me is that you start off with a little jab step fake to the left, and then this is basically you just setting two screens on this backer, right? You're hoping that they are in man coverage. It's a true 3-on-3 situation. And you have a pick here, and then you have Brazel creating some traffic as well. You want this guy to go as far up as you possibly can to make sure the safety's not coming over here for Kitselman. And then he starts off looking out and then going up. Okay, so this honestly is a really good throw by Aguilar to make this a back shoulder. This guy is never getting over here to make that play, and it's an easy touchdown. Man, this is a really, really fun way to run counter. So instead of doing a typical counter GY where you're pulling a guard and a tackle in the same direction, you have Kitselman make it a step to the right and then whipping back to the left. So you need the guard to block zero here, and then you need Kitselman to get the block on the safety, and Lance Hurd climbs to the second level to seal right here. Zero was actually filling this right. He needs to just get off this block and make the play. He can't do it. Was there a little hold there? I'll let you be the judge of that. And now these Tennessee running backs, Bishop, old school bare hands it, picks up a good chunk of yards. And now that the run game is working, get a little RPO pull right here. And even at a leverage disadvantage, you have this space to work with. And, well, It's a really good throw over that backer. Boom. Okay. That was intentionally thrown high right there, and you get a nice catch right there from Mike. You've been running, and this becomes very simple for good old Joey Aguilar. In, bites down all the way. It's a simple pull read, and look at all this real estate to run through. He could have gotten all the way to Murfreesboro if you really wanted to, and you could tell he goes out of bounds to make sure he doesn't take a hit. I didn't show the graphic hit he took earlier where his helmet smashed into that Arkansas equipment truck, but lucky enough he was good. Wait, who are you calling? That is so important. That's crazy. This is where you get into the level of competition. Arkansas is not a bad team. This defense is horrendous. Okay, you had the disadvantage that they made a coordinator switch, but you're going to win this matchup versus the Arkansas corners. It is a really bad group, and you can see Matthews leaves them in the dust. You can also see that this pass protection is an absolute work of art. So, over the next couple of weeks, you're just not going to be able to do this as dominantly versus better competition, in particular next week versus Alabama. Let's move ahead to this touchdown run. I want you to see this from Lance Hurd, okay? I believe this is Lewis, number 2. His first name slips my mind. It's so late. I'm drawing a blank. I could just go look it up. I got 1,000 different films today. So you guys remind me his first name. God, this from Lance Hurd is just nasty. Of course, it's a double, all right? But you get him to the ground. In fact, his knee had already hit the ground. He was already given up. Boom. Knee hits, and you get him down, and then we want to climb to the second level and just get some piece versus somebody else. And look, this play is actually blown up. This is a ridiculous play by Lewis. I don't know how he kept his footing. That is freaking ridiculous. I think it's Peyton Lewis. That's a pretty good first name for a Tennessee player. Tutty. All righty. Weird play here. So you're in 12 personnel. Kitselman, who had a big day, is leaking across the middle here. And this was weird. The center, who was head up on, actually it's a guard here, he is head up on Gefford. Okay, this is a 330-pound DT. He decides to let him go and look for someone else to block. And now you have Lewis here. This needs to be better. I understand that this guy is literally double your weight. This needs to be better, okay? Because we just can't have the starting quarterback taking a hit like that. All right, he does get it there, but under any circumstance, you've got to do more. It wasn't the best. And then we get to here. It's amazing what this run game sets up for you. And, God, Arkansas just was not ready for number 87, Miles Kitselman. A career day in many aspects. And if you make this guy miss, you're really cooking. But he's a tight end. That's not going to happen. Good play. This was a weird 3rd and 3 call. You have Star Thomas here. Yes, Gefford 95 blows this up. I do think you still need to carry this on out, because if he does, he's bouncing this for a big gain. So he decides to cut it back. Obviously the right tackle could have done a better job there, but he runs right into the blocks, and you have to punt. Arkansas scores, and now you got to really put this game away, and it's a zone read pull. It's a great pull right there to eventually get this to the outside. Good block by the running back, 72. Good job climbing to the second level. And now if you make this safety miss, you're really cooking. And not only does he make a miss, get the skates out, ladies and gentlemen. An absolutely nasty piece of work right here. Goodness gracious, that is just so gross. It is so freaking gross. And at the end of this, you do get an injury. It's not bad, right? He lands on the ball. When you land on the ball as a ball carrier, that can really knock your wind out. And then you close this out with a nice short yardage run, and Miles Kitselman, once again, just showing you that this dude can do everything as a tight end. Look at that block right there, and Peyton Lewis is able to close it out. So I've not been able to listen to the press conference, so I don't know what Bishop's health is like moving forward. He's such a key piece. But obviously we mostly focus in on the quarterback here, and Joey freaking Aguilar. Are you kidding me? Another great performance. 221 yards passing in this one. Did a good job not turning the football over. Took that big shot out of bounds. And on top of all of that, holy crap, this Tennessee defense, did they get torched in particular at the end when you had that 34-17 lead? Yes, but they did have quite a few turnovers, okay? But that defense, of course, needs to be ready for the best quarterback in the SEC. Who's this guy? Bam! That's who he is right there. Check it out, okay? It is Power Hour SEC. Boom! Tonight we're doing Low Mind.